Hi, everyone. Welcome to Module 9. One step closer to the end of the semester. I know that everybody's starting to gear up. Spring break's over, and we're all gearing up towards registration for the summer and the fall semesters. So make sure that you make appointments with your advisors and jump into those classes as early as possible. So for this week, we're addressing, we're entering into the officer subculture. And I know that many of you have probably already heard of the thin blue line and all of that. There's more to it. And this is the beginning of it. And I'm starting it off with officer-related stress because I think that is a key component in understanding the components that go into the officer subculture. So for this week, I'd like you to address what are the potential stressors that a police officer may encounter. What is the type of stress that an officer encounters or has to manage, the officer stress management strategies that they might use, and the consequences of job-related stress, typically on the officer as an individual, the officer's spouse, and the officer's family. So I will add this, that police officers have a life expectancy of around 59 years old. It has increased. They are 3 times more likely to commit suicide than the national average, 3 times more likely to acquire a drug or alcohol addiction, and they have an 85% divorce rate. It's not all good news. So I want you to relate the divorce rate in stressors at home as it's related to stressors at work. It's important to look at both and how they impact the officer and the officer's performance. The other thing that I need to address is that, or I'd like you to address, is officer diet. I know the going joke is that police officers are often at Dunkin' Donuts. I'd like you to kind of think about why an officer's at Dunkin' Donuts. I'd like you to think about officer diet, how it impacts the officer's health, and then that health is compounded with stress and the impact of stress on an individual's health. So the second part of the week is that I'm asking you to reach out to the Massachusetts State Police or any local police department, speak with public relations if you have to, and schedule a phone interview or an interview by email that you can ask the officer questions. I've outlined the areas that I'm looking for you to focus, but it doesn't hurt to add in, I'd like to see some type of questions that you're addressing to the police officer about how they manage their stress and what are the techniques that they use. These are critical to understanding how you, if you end up going into this industry, how you will manage your stress. For as long as I can remember, up until the past, like say 15 years, police officers, even when we're talking about my uncles and grandfathers working on the force, it was essentially shut up and deal with the problem. And a lot of them went into my maternal grandfather became a pretty bad alcoholic as a result of it. So the stress it does have an impact on a lot more than police community interaction. It impacts our families, it impacts our relationships with other people. And I think it's important that you speak with the police officer during your interview about these issues. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I look forward to reading your interviews.